What's going on, YouTube? The good old days. Days when you can go to a dealership, pick out a car, and take it home that night. Those days are gone. Well, enough reminiscing. Let's get into it. Sold out, sold out, sold out. Some dealers are actually starting to stop their reservation process, while some other dealerships haven't even started the reservation process yet. But in the weeks to come, you guys are going to see a lot more of these things online. I actually saw this at a couple dealer sites online where they have not taken any more reservations. I guess they finally realized that this is just getting a bit too crazy and they can't continue to keep taking in these reservations. It's just crazy. So it comes down to allocation versus reservation. So I want to share something with you guys that I read online. I did a little bit of a homework so you don't have to, but check this out. Corvette allocation numbers. The system used in the automotive industry to handle new vehicle orders is known as the turn and earn allocation system. This means that the present number of orders that will be accepted by GM from a Chevy dealer is based upon the dealer's previous sales numbers. For example, when determining how much allocation to give to dealers for 2019 Corvette ZR1 orders, the allocation numbers that GM handed out to dealers were based upon each dealership's C8 Z06 Corvette sales the year before. So let's assume that a Chevy dealership sold 1,000 Z06 Corvettes in 2018. GM would notify that dealership that based upon their Z06 sales in 2018, they will receive a total allocation of 1,100 2019 ZR1s. That means if we have deposits for 1,100 or less ZR1 orders, we know that those orders have a very high probability of being placed and accepted by GM. So here's another example. If we have 1,200 2019 ZR1 orders, we can't promise those 100+ customers at the end of the list that their order will be placed and accepted by GM because we only have allocation for 1,100. Crazy stuff. It's like going to a nice restaurant where there's only 10 tables, but there's 100 people outside waiting. The first 3 waves are probably going to get seated, but the other 70 people, they're not going to get any food that night. It's the same thing with these reservations and allocations. They've got less allocations than reservations nationwide. So everybody that's in, it's just going to be very, very difficult. Here's the website if you want to read the whole article. The problem I have is, being that the Z06 doesn't exist yet, I don't know what Chevy is going to base the previous year's allocation on. So being that the only thing that they have to use is a Stingray, maybe that's what they'll do. Who knows? My hands are up on this one. I have no idea how they're going to measure allocations. But again, this is just another part of the process that's going to cause a bit of confusion. So hold on, guys. Here's another observation. How many Chevy dealership locations are there in the United States? There's 2,912 Chevy locations in the US. That's a lot of dealerships to be taking reservation, guys. Now, I'm not saying that every one of those dealerships sells Corvettes. Some of them don't even sell Corvettes. But with that many dealerships in the US, that's still quite a bit of reservations that could be taken. So again, just pointing to the realistic aspect that for all of us that are really trying to get this car, if we're not first or ahead of the line, it's just going to be some challenges. And that leads us into order info, deposits, and when will production even start? Now, Chevy's got themselves a pretty good problem to have. You know, it's a huge demand. They're going to sell a lot of vehicles, should increase their revenue share. So it's a pretty good problem to have when you're in business. Not a good problem for us, the consumer, because we're not going to see our cars for a long time. Now, here's something I didn't know. With the frenzy over buying the 2020 and 2021 Corvettes, these latest tails were expected. With all of the sub-assemblies produced by outside contractors, I didn't know that. It seems that Chevy can only produce so many a year. So it can't just add a shift or expand the assembly line. I thought about that. I'm like, maybe they can do double and triple shifts, you know, to kind of satisfy the demand. But it seems with these outside contractors and the fact that they're still missing parts that haven't arrived for the vehicle, it kind of creates a more long-term issue. So we're just going to have to continue to be patient throughout this process. So my C7 is gone, so it's just me and Smoothie over here until the C8 arrives. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. It's not a Stingray yet. It's not a Z06, but nonetheless, I'm out. Until next time, see you guys.